As promised, I am back here today because I want to talk about all the things that I learned in 2019 or that I remembered that I already knew. And I wanted to come share one of those things with you today. I learned that I should not dish more onto my plate than I can actually afford to eat. If I cannot complete what's on my plate to dish, I should not dish more than I can afford to complete. And that, of course, is a metaphor, but it can be applied in literal terms. Because what happens when you have a lot on your plate and you've taken more than you can actually handle, just in terms of time, in terms of your energy, in terms of what capacity you have, energy wise, time wise, is that you feel overwhelmed all the time. You feel like there's no stop to whatever it is that you have to do. There's no stop to what has to be done, and there has to be. Life has to be balanced. Life has to include work, play, rest, enjoyment, sleeping, eating, being able to just to run your own errands and do things for yourself. And especially if you can't afford to have people do things like that for you, like run errands for you, housekeep for you, or I'm talking about the bulk of people. A lot of people cannot have a housekeeper. A lot of people cannot have a PA. A lot of people cannot have, you know, that much help, cannot afford that much help. It's not about not being able to have it because those people need to be paid in their role. So, in organizing your life, then you have to just make sure that, you know, you don't live in such a way that there is no balance. You don't live in such a way that you have too much on your plate and that you are stretched so thin that you always feel overwhelmed, because what that does, which I discovered this year, is that it creates an undercurrent of anxiety. You are always anxious and you are always nervous and your brain is always going, and it doesn't stop because you have too much on your plate and you probably don't have the capacity. And so, of course, you're going to be anxious. Of course, you're going to suffer from anxiety. And I remember just having too much on my plate at points this year and, going through anxious moments of listening to relaxation music and just trying to calm down all the time. And I looked at it and I thought, what is going on that I'm feeling anxiety all the time? And part of what was going on was that about the bulk of what was going on was that I had too much on my plate. I had too much on my plate. And granted, the moment called for it, but you can't have too much on your plate consecutively on a continuous basis. If there's certain situations that call for it, it's understandable. And for me this year, it was a particularly one of those years where I had to take on too much on my plate. But the consequence was that there was a lot of anxiety that came with that, not because it wasn't working out, but because your brain is always going, is always thinking about the next thing. You complete one task and you go on to the next task. You are going on with the next task and you're thinking about aspects of another task. You're laying down to rest and your mind is still bringing forth solutions to you and about things that are on your to-do list, and it becomes too much. Try not to have too much on your plate. Generally speaking, I would say it's not a good thing for sustained periods of time, and take only as much as you can accommodate capacity wise, in terms of energy, in terms of time during in a 24-hour cycle, and keep to that, and the rest can be done tomorrow. So that's what one of the things that I had to remember this year. Most poignantly, I just had to remember that too much on my plate kind of makes me ineffective sometimes, although I didn't have that problem. But I think for a lot of people, having too much on your plate can result in being ineffective, can result in being unreliable, can result in saying you're going to do something and then you don't end up doing it. Get some things off your plate and apportion accordingly from day to day or from month to month or from week to week. There's only so much time to do things, and I think in the midst of everything, it's important to rest. It's important to play. It's important to enjoy life and not wait for, retirement to enjoy life. You want to enjoy, you want to be present in the now of your life and enjoy now and make spaces to enjoy and rest and, do enjoyable things now, and you have creative outlets now, as opposed to, oh, when I retire, I'll take art classes. No, do it now. You need it because you need a variety of things to keep you interested and motivated. And that's what happens when you have too much on your plate and you don't have time for rest and for play, is that, play and rest is that buffer that keeps you motivated. You take some time off and then you get back to it. And you get back to it and you have energy for it. But if you don't take the space to play, to rest, to take a walk, to exercise, then there's no buffer. You stretched out thin and you're running on empty. I hope going into 2020 you can figure out ways for yourself that are cost effective, that are within your means, where you don't have to be stretched thin and really just operating with the candle burning on both ends, do it and don't hold off on it. It's important for your life, it's important for your livelihood, it's important for your youth, it's important for your vitality. Prioritize yourself as well. In all of the priorities that are tugging at your hemline, also prioritize yourself and your peace and your calm and your rest and your variety. Variety is just key in not taking too much on your plate. That's all. Anyway, I will see you again tomorrow. Stay blessed and be blessed. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you like what you see here on this channel, it's free, but you choose. Please like, please share, please comment down below. I always like to hear from you. And what else do I want to say? Keep coming back. If there's something that really rings true for you in this video and you really want to hear it again and again, keep coming back and watching, and so that you can internalize and keep this in your heart, and it's not something you hear once and you don't hear it again. The guys cutting the grass is doing the most. So yeah, keep coming back and watch and internalize and keep this in your heart. It's going to help you as your life gets better, as opportunities open, as gates open and doors open and rooms open. You're going to need to remember yourself. You're going to need to remember to prioritize yourself and to, not take on too much, so much that you don't have time for yourself. I'll see you next time. Stay blessed and be blessed. It has been lovely talking to you. This is me, divinely inspired, vibrantly anointed artist, Ms. NoBuntu. Mwah.